Now, quite a few cool events going on in Asphalt at the moment with the Centenario Hunt, and it's football time. But this Year of the Ox is really one to get some pretty cool rewards out of. Tokens and blueprints and epic import parts for the McLaren Senna. I know some people are having problems with the Pagani BC car in this one, and I want to kind of go into a small bit about the way that car handles with a thing called gasless drifting or open drifting. Those star gates on this, by the way, if you haven't seen those in an event before, that is just a case of if you're getting the times but not getting the rewards, just keep in mind the fact that you need to have the car at those star ratings, otherwise doing a time just won't count. But yeah, taking a look at the Pagani, and definitely just the way this one handles, it has to be done pretty differently for this event. But these rewards definitely worth tracking down if you can do it. If you've got this car maxed out, especially, just trying to avoid the AI at the start as much as you can. But if they get too close to you, just use the double tap nitro to use them as a speed boost, but shouldn't be needed too much. But yeah, just drifting there with no accelerator on the edge of that drift. And like I said, I will go into that a bit more here, but it is literally for this, the basics of it is just release the gas, do a drift, charges up that nitro meter really, really fast. And this is one car where you definitely want to make use of throwing it into the air, because it'll go up to 312 or so miles an hour. Again, gasless drift, into shockwave, and just standard yellow nitro the entire way down here. Hello, cat. Again, here, gasless, so as not to lose things. And if you notice the fact that when I'm drifting around there, watch the reduction in the speed is really, really minimal. And again, weave back and forth here, and just instantly into the shockwave there. Do not double tap that for a 111 time in the Pagani is definitely decent for getting those rewards unlocked. Now, for the golden Acura then, there's quite a lot of tokens to be earned with the Acura from this event actually. It's pretty cool. It's I think it's at 88 for the tokens in this. Yeah, just be careful with the AI around. Yeah, you get the start. You can just nitro them all out of the way if they're getting too close to you. Oh yeah. And just I love the way this car handles, but just taking a kind of less extreme path than with the Pagani. It definitely needs less of the open drifting or any of the kind of flashy stuff, because it's just 200 mile an hour beast on the flat ground. Can easily enough throw it into the air though for some bonus speed. The other Viper that's in this cannot be handled like that or mishandled like that really, but the Acura and Pagani both get away with it. Yeah, just make sure that you're up and around the kind of top speed of the car with, like I said, my driving is always as little flashy as possible, but just get the times done. Doesn't have to be high flying stuff and lots of drifting. It just needs to be, quick and just nice steady path. Again, just shockwave straight to the finish. 16 seconds, 16 and a half seconds. That's 2 seconds to spare. And the Dodge Viper then needing that's, was it 16 and a half seconds? This is one car that you cannot kind of throw around the track. Don't drift and stuff with this. Just make use of that really, really cool top speed, but just avoid kind of as much as possible. Avoid the 316s in the air. I find in this one is a lot easier to actually get the time. Just keep it as straight as possible. And this version of the Viper is definitely completely different to its C-Class brother. But the that ACR can nitro and drift all over the place, whereas this thing suffers tremendously when you try and drift it even the smallest amount. So you have to, say you do have to drift obviously on a couple of the corners in this track, like the one coming up here at the end. But with this car, it is just a case of the speed. You're going to shave off so much speed. I'm just trying, yeah, get it straightened out again onto the straight. Again, drift is needed here, and shockwave, and just like trying to drift it as little as possible, because this car just suffers so much speed loss when you do that. Make sure and keep enough nitro here so that you can shockwave towards the finish. And yeah, that's a second and a half to the spare. Now, I've mentioned this in a couple of videos, but yeah, it is just two technique things that I say where I'm going to just to instantly use a shockwave, and also just open drifting or gasless drifting that I mentioned in quite a few videos. And I just said I would throw up an actual one of this, including it in this video, but also I'm going to include this as a standalone video because I think it's very important just for people to kind of know that it's there. And like, you might notice this is in game, or you might be making use out of it, or you may be even making use out of it and not realizing what you're doing. But yeah, in this game, when you're turning corners, there's two different kind of major ways of turning them when you're using a drift. And like, it's most noticeable in stuff like this. Pagani is crazy for it, but like, if you go into a corner like this one, say, and you drift and hold the accelerator, you notice that the top speed immediately drops down there to 170. If you do that same thing, but when you press the drift button, just actually, instead of holding the accelerator as you're drifting, release the accelerator and just let the car like skeet around the corner, and you'll find that the car will reduce in speed a whole lot faster. So say here, I'm going to just press the drift button and let the car drift itself around the corner. And coming out the other side there, like 190 still, as opposed to if you were to say like on this next one, I will use a drift while holding the accelerator. And like the main, yeah, down to 170 again. The main differences between the two is that gasless drifting, if you use it, the car has a way less traction on the track. So like say here, if I don't hold the accelerator while I'm drifting around there, you see that the car can like drift wildly out. It's very hard to do like gasless drifting and stay tight on the inside of corners, but it does let you keep a lot more of that speed. The one time when you definitely want to be using the gas with the drifting is when you want to have exceptional handling. Because say here, if you do actually like drift and hold the accelerator, you can keep a lot closer to the inside portion of the track. Now, it does take some like just experimenting yourself to see, but cars that really benefit are things like the Lotus Elise is definitely noticeable. The Viper ACR, the say H2 Speed gets a fairly good benefit with it. The McLaren Senna, but like it also affects like the really higher end class, like this Pagani here, and things like the Pagani Huayra Run are really affected by it. So like just drifting around corners without holding the accelerator. Now, the other one that is something that I think people don't realize is small, because the game constantly mentions it, and that is the fact that like when the game tells you about things like using a shockwave nitro, or when people talk about using the imperfect nitro, normally they say double tap the nitro button, and like you can do it with a double tap and like say like that, but yeah, there is that 1 second where you're getting that startup from the where you're in an actual yellow nitro state for either of those. But yeah, just do keep in mind that on the Switch controller, X and Y are both nitro buttons, so you don't have to double press one particular button for that. What you can just do to instantly go into a nitro state is just press X and Y at the same time, and the car will just immediately jump into a shockwave state, or immediately jump into that imperfect orange state. You don't need to press the you don't need to double press one button. What you can just do is, like I say, yeah, just press X and Y together. In a single click, you'll just jump straight into a shockwave nitro without having to take any of that, like, the extra second that it takes for the, going through the orange nitro state. And I know it's just a fraction of a second, but still, like, why double tap one when you can just press your finger right in the middle of the two of them to, just immediately jump straight to a shockwave state. But I just said I wanted to kind of include that as, an explanation to that kind of drifting. What I know this is one where it's hard to see on track the exact difference between those two, but trust me, go into a quick race yourself, pick a car with high handling in particular, something like Pagani Viper ACR, not that other, like the higher rated Viper, but yeah, the Lotus Elise Sprint, say the Pagani Chiron, McLaren Senna, all of those cars get like crazily different in terms of it's pretty much a different way of turning corners, and it is just down to, yeah, when you go into a corner, just press the drift button and yeah, then just let the car do its thing of drifting inside there. By the way, one thing I will clarify, because I've said it a few times, of pressing the drift button, and I've been made aware of the fact that some people hold the drift button in this game, and you can do that, and I've seen arguments two ways with the fact of yeah, that you can like hold that button. But do just keep in mind the fact that like drift in this game is toggleable, so you can just like one press of the drift button and that's it, like only just a hand on the accelerator, and the car will stay in a drift state until you press it again. So like the drift does not have to be held to achieve it. You can just press the drift button one time and then yeah, just like once you've pressed it, you can just, your car will stay drifting forever until you press it the second time, and then it'll lock in the kind of the car back in line again with a non-drift state. Like you can just toggle it back and forth between those two. So drifting after one press, not drifting, drifting again, press it again, and it's not drifting. So car. But yeah, again, that's just one of those ones that some people may not have even realized they're doing it, or you may not have realized that it could be helpful. But I just mentioned it because there's so many of these videos where I know people are like, wait, how are you doing that speed? Like this entire straight and taking with like effectively no accelerator or thing. It's just a case of, yeah, using the nitro. But there's definitely be aware of the fact that like, yeah, here, drifting, like the only thing I'm using on the stick is just the analog stick. There is no accelerator, so there, and then just pressing the nitro button. Because also, when you're in a nitro state, you don't have to hold the accelerator. That's another one that's like, it doesn't gain you any difference in the handling if you do that, but while your car is nitroing, don't need the accelerator in the slightest. It'll just go itself. And that's like not using the auto accelerator tongue, because there's actually a glitch with that in game at the moment. So I would advise anyone that I'm going to be in trouble here, but I would advise anyone that uses that auto acceleration thing to maybe disable that at the time being. It currently has a glitch on it where, yeah, it causes your car to like permanently leave skid marks. You might notice on certain things, especially if it gets toggled on and off. I've heard people talking about it. I never use that auto accelerator because I find that it does hamper your speed. But yeah, definitely at the moment, as of making this video, you want to just be leaving it off anyway because it is slightly bugged. But yeah, so to just include these as a little tip extra in this video. No, and the other cool thing with this one is like a 99% off DLC pack that's in with the Chinese New Year. If you go with some microtransactions, this is definitely one that's like worth picking up in my opinion. It's like 888 tokens and 8 of the Chinese New Year packs. Now like those New Year packs to me don't have too much in the lines of blueprints. Pagani, no, and I don't think they've got like the no, I thought that was the McLaren. I mean the McLaren Senna. But no, like for me this is just gonna be trade coins the whole way down. But at the same time, that's not what I'm kind of interested in this pack. Yeah, it is just a case of those tokens. But I would definitely like say that if you were thinking of future events and stuff, even at 30,000 tokens, I'd still be interested in chasing down kind of these 99% off ones. And this one is actually a decent reduction on that for the 888 tokens at least anyway. But I said I just included in this video just because, yeah, obviously, like, I'm not kind of anti-DLC or the no pay-to-win type mentality. I'm obviously generally against paying to win when it's crazy amounts, but yeah, like €1 or €2 DLC, especially 99% off ones, they're ones that are not too harsh. I don't think there's much that needs censoring there. Oh, and I can use my 10 gold coins to get like 10 whole cent off that. Woohoo! The 189 nitro charge bundle. But yeah, I said I just included in this just to see, like, if anyone's wondering kind of like what's the drop rate like for those actual packs. If they're amazing in oh, I hope they're not jackpot because yeah, like I said, there's you'd just be a lot of trade coins for me. Some Vulcan, Lotus Elise, cool car, Acura, amazing. The meh, oh yeah, awesome. Ford Shelby, FXK, and oh no, the 370Z. I don't think we want to see that again after that. Atrocious event that includes it. But yeah, like I said, this main one is just those 888 tokens inside that. Can't really go too wrong. But yeah, I just wanted to include in this for anyone who might have missed that. It had been added into game of a fairly decent 99% off DLC. But yeah, there's a sub button up there over my head. Indie game reviews, or I mess around with indie games up in that corner. And there'll be another video from my channel here that YouTube thinks you'll appreciate. And yeah, guys, drive safe. Let us know in the comments if this helped or if there's any other questions you have about this event in particular anyway.